Flintoff, 45, broke cover last month showing clear facial scarring after England cricket legend and Top Gear presenter Freddie Flintoff is plotting his TV comeback next year after a horrific crash on the BBC motoring show put him out of action for months. Time equals 400 Ms, greater than the all-rounder, 45, is preparing to return to TV to make a second series of Field of Dreams, the 2022 BBC documentary series that saw him introducing children in his home city of Preston to cricket. The Sun reports that Flintoff may also front another motoring show, Chasing Cars, which has been described as the repair shop but for petrolheads, but the dad of 4 is said to be pacing himself ahead of a return to screens as the one-year anniversary of the crash that saw him retreat from the public eye for months looms. Flintoff was driving a Morgan Super 3, a lightweight trackday sports car with 2 wheels at the front and 1 at the back, at the Dunsfold test track near Guildford, Surrey last December when it overturned. Freddie Flintoff broke cover last month for the first time since the horrific crash in December last year, bearing facial scars. Time equals 400 Ms, greater than Flintoff, 45, is said to be considering filming a second series of Field of Dreams, the BBC series that saw him introducing children in his hometown of Preston to cricket in 2022. Filming was suspended on the most recent series of Top Gear after the crash. Pictured. Flintoff with co-presenters Chris Harris, left, and Paddy McGuinness, right. Flintoff was recruited as one of the new presenters on Top Gear after it was rebooted for a third successive time since the departure of mainstay presenters Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May. Flintoff, 45, was driving a Morgan three-wheeler open-top sports car when it overturned during filming at Dunsfold near Guildford in Surrey. Flintoff has had other accidents on Top Gear, flying off of a runway on a high-speed motorized trike above, in September 2019, from which he emerged unscathed. Read more. Top Gear crash that nearly killed Freddie Flintoff and May have finished off. The show came when Star was doing just 22 miles per hour as he flipped open-top car without a helmet. Advertisement: the open-top car has no airbags, and the cricketer was not wearing a helmet when the car flipped at around 22 miles per hour, meaning he scraped his face along the tarmac in horrific scenes witnessed by the TV production crew. The paper also reports that Flintoff may also choose to be interviewed about the physical and psychological issues associated with the crash. He has bravely shared details of his struggles with an eating disorder, both in an interview on Piers Morgan's Life Stories and in BBC documentary Freddie Flintoff, Living with Bulimia. A TV insider told The Sun, his return to the limelight is something both telly execs and the public have been longing for, and thankfully he now seems ready to return to doing what he loves. He just needs to get past the 1-year anniversary of the crash, then he can focus on the next chapter of his career. Flintoff reportedly required a number of surgeries following the crash, suffering broken ribs and facial bones after being dragged along the road. Several members of staff who witnessed it were signed off sick, having reportedly been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, a claim the BBC has denied. He retreated from the limelight at the behest of his family in order to recover, breaking cover for the first time last month to coach England cricketers. An investigation mounted in the aftermath of Flintoff's crash found the BBC had no case to answer, while Morgan, a British marque based in Worcestershire, has said there was nothing wrong with the car. The Super 3, as it is named, is capable of hitting 62 miles per hour in 7 seconds and a top speed of 130 miles per hour, Morgan says of the car on its website. With every drive, your senses are heightened as you are forced to remain present and focused. It is thought that Flintoff may consider a tell-all interview about the crash, having previously spoken openly about his battle with bulimia. Pictured. The cricketer in BBC documentary Freddie Flintoff, Living with Bulimia. The incident had echoes of Richard Hammond's terrifying 300 miles per hour dragster crash in 2006, which left the ex-Top Gear presenter in a coma for 2 weeks. Clarkson, Hammond and May, left Top Gear in 2015 after Clarkson punched a producer. Time equals 400 Ms, greater than Top Gear underwent its third successive reboot in a handful of years after Matt LeBlanc and Chris Evans joined the show in 2016, left, with Chris Harris and Rory Reid being promoted to co-hosts after Evans left after one series. Right. Read more. Revealed. Freddie Flintoff's wife was told to expect the worst after Top Gear horror crash as surgeons battled to put England cricketer back together. Advertisement: a source told the Mail on Sunday earlier this month. Freddie was not wearing a helmet, but the situation is that he did not have to wear one. The car is road legal without a helmet, It has a halo safety device, and he was on a private track. They had only just set off and were on the first corner when the car flipped and he scraped his face along the tarmac. Filming for the remainder of the newest series of Top Gear, which stars Flintoff alongside Paddy McGuinness and motoring journalist Chris Harris, was canned following the December 13th incident. It isn't even the first incident Flintoff has had filming on Top Gear, running out of runway as he drove a motorized trike known as a Time Bandit that is capable of more than 120 miles per hour. In that accident, in September 2019, he was wearing a full motorcycle suit and helmet, coming away unhurt. Flintoff has been fronting the show since 2019 in the third major reworking of the show since the departure of mainstays Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May in 2015 after Clarkson punched a producer. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than radio and TV veteran Chris Evans was recruited to front a renewed Top Gear alongside actor Matt LeBlanc, Harris and journalist Rory Reid. But Evans left after one series, while Reid and LeBlanc were swapped out for Flintoff and McGuinness 4 years ago. The BBC has denied, however, that the show is finished for good following Flintoff's crash, the second serious incident on Top Gear after Richard Hammond's 300 mph dragster crash in 2006 that left him in a coma for 2 weeks. A spokesperson told Mail Online last week. A decision on the timing of future Top Gear shows will be made in due course with BBC content.